How was the Great Barrier Reef created? There's nothing like the Great Barrier Reef. It's the largest coral reef system in the world, made up of around 3,000 individual reefs and 900 beautiful islands. Stretching an incredible 2,600 kilometers along the coast of Australia, this natural wonder is truly breathtaking. What makes it even more special is that it accounts for about 10% of all the coral reef ecosystems on the planet. Besides the massive size, it is also one of the most complex and famous natural systems Earth has to offer. But how was it formed? Who gave it the name? And what makes it so unique? Let's find out. The origins of this natural wonder date back thousands of years, long before humans even began to imagine such wonders. It all began when coral started to grow around the base of mountains that once made up the Great Dividing Range. Back then, these mountains weren't covered by water. Instead, they were continental islands, meaning they were part of the underwater continental shelf, completely surrounded by sea. As time passed, something extraordinary happened. Sea levels began to rise, and the coral started to grow upwards, climbing along the mountains as though chasing the sunlight. Eventually, these mountains were completely submerged beneath the ocean waves, leaving behind small islands, barrier reefs, and atolls. Today, the islands near areas like Cairns and the northern parts of the Great Barrier Reef are what remain of those ancient mountaintops. Surrounding these islands are fringing reefs, homes to marine life, from colorful fish and sea turtles to coral structures that seem like underwater cities. Talking about the formation, the Great Barrier Reef, like every reef, began with the help of a tiny yet incredible creature called the coral polyp. These small organisms start their journey when they're released into the ocean by their parents. Eventually, a polyp finds a solid surface, like a rock, to settle on and begin its remarkable work. After attaching itself, the polyp starts producing calcium carbonate, which hardens and forms the skeleton or base of the reef. This skeleton gives the reef its shape and also protects the polyp. Over time, more polyps join, and together they create a larger reef. What's even more exciting is the partnership coral polyps develop with algae. The algae provide the polyps with food and are responsible for the coral's dazzling colors, which makes reefs so breathtaking. Depending on the species and surroundings, healthy coral can grow at different rates. Sometimes they grow just a few millimeters a year, and other times up to 20 centimeters. For coral to survive, warm waters between 21 degrees centigrade and 29 degrees centigrade are ideal, which is why the Great Barrier Reef is such a stunning and diverse natural wonder. Now that you understand how the Great Barrier Reef was formed, let's explore more and see who discovered and named it. The Great Barrier Reef is believed to be up to 20 million years old, although the current reef as we know it began forming between 6,000 and 8,000 years ago, after the last ice age started to recede. Long before European explorers set eyes on it, the reef was known to the Aboriginal Australian and Torres Strait Islander peoples, who lived in harmony with this natural wonder. For these First Nations people, the reef was a vital source of food and held deep cultural and spiritual importance, woven into their traditions and stories over tens of thousands of years. Early records of European exploration provide exciting insights into the first encounters with the Great Barrier Reef. One of the earliest documented sightings came from the French explorer Louis de Bougainville. On June 6, 1768, while commanding two ships, L'Abeduce and L'Etoile, Bougainville approached the eastern coast of Australia. During his voyage, he came across what is now called Bougainville Reef near Cooktown. However, the conditions were harsh. Rough surf and open ocean presented serious challenges for his crew. Additionally, with supplies running low, Bougainville made the decision to head north instead of continuing further. He navigated toward Asia along the northern coast of New Guinea, ultimately missing the opportunity to explore Australia further at that time. A few years later, another person got the chance to explore the Great Barrier Reef in much more detail during a voyage that would change the world's understanding of this incredible natural wonder. From May to August 1770, the famous British explorer James Cook and his ship the Endeavour sailed along the length of the reef. Unlike the fleeting glimpses noted by earlier travelers, this journey marked an important moment in the reef's history. However, it wasn't all smooth sailing. In fact, the adventure turned into a story filled with unexpected challenges and discoveries. For most of his journey, Cook stayed relatively close to the shoreline, which meant that he and his crew probably didn't see much of the massive reef system at first. That all changed on June the 11th, when their ship accidentally ran aground on what is now called Endeavour Reef, north of Cape Tribulation. This crash created a serious problem, and they needed to repair the ship urgently. For 6 long weeks, they remained stuck at a site near present-day Cooktown while they worked tirelessly to fix the damage. Although this delay was frustrating, it also turned into an opportunity for discovery. Cook and his team, which included scientists like the botanists Joseph Banks and Daniel Solander, along with 4 illustrators, used this time to explore and study the new surroundings as much as they could. Unfortunately, they weren't able to observe the reef in depth because of the situation, but they made enough observations to reveal to the international scientific community that the Great Barrier Reef existed and was massive and extraordinary in scale. Once the repairs were complete, Cook set out again, but the reef posed another obstacle. As they tried to find a way to the open sea, they struggled to locate a break in the natural barrier. Finally, they sailed northward to a small island known today as Lizard Island. There, Cook and Banks climbed to the island's highest point, and from that vantage point, they spotted a gap in the reef large enough for their ship to pass through. This break in the massive reef system is now called Cook's Passage. But guess what? Cook wasn't the one who gave the Great Barrier Reef its name. Then who did? Well, in 1802, Matthew Flinders, another renowned European navigator, conducted a far more detailed mapping of the reef. It was Flinders who gave the reef the name we still use today, the Great Barrier Reef. He chose this name based on its immense size and its role as a natural barrier, protecting the coastline from waves and open seas. Flinders described various parts of the reefs with terms like Great Reef and Barrier Reef, before finalizing the now famous term Great Barrier Reef. And just like that, the Great Barrier Reef was officially born. Talking about the location, the Great Barrier Reef lies in the Coral Sea, off the coast of Queensland, Australia. It is separated from the mainland by a channel that, in some areas, is up to 160 kilometers wide and over 61 meters deep. What makes this place even more extraordinary is that it's so massive that it can be seen all the way from outer space. It holds the title of the world's largest structure, created by living organisms, showcasing the incredible diversity and strength of nature. The Great Barrier Reef is home to over 30 species of whales, dolphins, and porpoises that swim through its waters. 6 different species of turtles also live here. Believe it or not, 17 unique species of sea snakes call this place home too. And if that wasn't amazing enough, the reef is packed with over 1,500 species of fish. That's a staggering 10% of all the fish species in the world. However, the reef is facing serious challenges, mainly due to climate change. Rising sea temperatures and pollution make the coral more vulnerable to bleaching, which can eventually lead to its death. Yes, tourism brings many benefits, but it can sometimes harm the reef too. For example, when swimmers and divers touch the coral, they can damage it, and trash or certain sunscreen chemicals left behind by visitors can pollute the waters. But hey, there's good news to tackle these problems. The Australian government and conservationists understand the importance of protecting this natural wonder and are working hard to save it. Efforts are being made to reduce sediment runoff, and scientists are even growing resilient corals in labs to replant them in the wild. Yes, we said that tourism can harm the reef, but we can't ignore the fact that it can also play a vital role in its survival. How? Well, with over 2 million visitors annually, tourism generates around $5 to $6 billion each year, some of which goes toward reef protection. The more people care about the reef, the more resources and attention can be dedicated to preserving it for future generations. So, this was how the Great Barrier Reef was created. This magnificent living structure has been around for millions of years. It won't be wrong to say that there's nothing like it in the world. Its sheer size and diverse marine life make it a one-of-a-kind wonder. Let us know in the comments below what you find most fascinating about the Great Barrier Reef. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.